I'm willing to say he's the basement coach of the year.
Two games, they're gonna get something rolling.
This is a special edition of the Sports Saga podcast, and it's presented by Al Dias Electric. Hello, everyone, and thank you for joining us today. Brady Kudo here, and the collaboration that we've been talking about for several days now is here. Hector Flores from the Insert Name FC podcast is with us. Keegan Hamlet will join us in a moment, currently stuck in traffic on the highway, things that we all love. So, Hector, thank you for doing this. If you haven't checked out Insert Name FC podcast, it's on Apple Podcasts. Check it out. Great content there, Hector. How are you? Thank you for being here.
I'm doing great. And I mean, for your partner, man, this is going to be a great episode to listen to while he's in traffic next time. So this works out, full circle moment here.
All right. So again, Keegan will be joining us very, very shortly, but we're going to dive right into some things here. The UEFA Nations League is underway, and we're starting to see early impressions from teams. A great example is England. And how, in my opinion, again, we know the talent that they bring, right, with Harry Kane and Raheem Sterling in the attacking third. However, they've only managed to, they managed to draw against Germany, which was expected, I feel like. Two very competitive teams that are expected to go far in Qatar come November, but they drew 1-1 against Hungary. So I think this can be seen so far as an underachievement for Gareth Southgate's side. What are you making of England so far?
I think when you're talking about Nations League, it's such a weird tournament because like some people don't know whether or not where to value winning this tournament. Obviously, for teams like Hungary, it's definitely a big opportunity. And I mean, you got to give props to Hungary. They balled out. I mean, this whole Nations League so far has been upsets galore.
Yeah.
So that's been kind of impressive. But I think if you're England, the pressure is always going to be with England, especially you go to the Euro final, you end up losing in penalties. You were a penalty away from making it to the World Cup final in Russia. So there's always going to be that pressure when you're England because that everybody wants everybody loves the chance that's coming home, and then it doesn't work out. But like you said, with this team that England has now had, like this talent is amazing. Harry Kane, you can definitely say, is the standard when it comes to the English Premier League as a goal scorer. That back line is pretty solid as long as you don't have Harry Maguire in there. And I mean, the midfield, I think Declan Rice is looking more and more like a true gem. That's going to be coming at that number 6 spot. But yeah, this English team, like, I mean, they have to do something. This team is way too good. I mean, we've had another golden generation of English players that unfortunately just didn't pan out. And you don't want to see that happen again, especially with this team. I've praised Gareth Southgate. I know a lot of people don't necessarily like Gareth Southgate, but I think he's a really good coach, a good manager. And you can't say he's doing a bad job. I mean, he's made it to the final of the Euro and obviously was pretty close to the World Cup. But I mean, yeah, it's underperforming and it's crucial because this coming weekend you have a match against Italy. This is the rematch of the Euro. This is a big one. And, especially, and then, Italy also has got some pressure because they got flat out embarrassed by Argentina.
Yep.
And I mean, yeah, they got to draw against Germany, but that they circled that England game big time because England's trying to make a big statement on that match.
I like that you brought up Italy because I want to get to them in a minute. I don't praise Gareth Southgate, but I don't think he's terrible. Like, obviously, you're doing something right? Like, he's a smart coach. I think his tactics are good. But the one thing I didn't like, you go back to the Euro final, is that a 19-year-old who was making, what was it at the time? His 5th cap is taking the goal, is that penalty. Like, I don't think he should have put Saka in that spot. You know what I mean? Like, I would have, like, I don't know, that was almost 2 years ago. Not 2 years ago, a year ago, rather. I don't know exactly who was on the pitch.
Jack Grealish didn't even take a penalty.
I think it should have been Grealish. It should have been. Like, again, Bukayo Saka is 19 years old, facing, I believe it was Donnarumma, and we all look at him as one of the best in the world, as he is. But it's one of those decisions that's like, we're really gonna. I mean, Grealish or Saka. In that time, I would have taken Grealish, right? I mean, we know he's got a great left foot. But yeah, it was one of those decisions where, again, like, all credit in the world to get into a Euro final, because the Euro is probably, if not the hard, well, aside from the World Cup, the toughest continental competition, national team speak. But I'll go to Italy. As soon as they, like, you win Euro, your best team in Europe, then you turn around, you can't beat North Macedonia. As soon as that happened, Hector, I was on the Fire Mancini train right from the start.
As you
I
should.
feel after that finalissima, the next day he should have been fired. I mean, come on. Again, talent. They're getting old. I understand that. Chiellini is going, I joke around, he's going retirement league. LAFC. Leonardo Bonucci is in, I believe he's 36 years old. They're getting older. I understand that. But you just won Euro. You're missing the World Cup. Now, this is 2 years in a row now we're talking about. Now, who would they bring in? I don't know. There's a guy named Pep Guardiola who is not going to renew his contract at Manchester City. So maybe that's their plan. But I want to know your take on this. You're way more of a soccer expert than I am. Should Italy fire Roberto Mancini? Especially if they don't make a deep run in Nations League.
Oh yeah, I mean, if you're looking at if Nations League is going to be the reason that you fire Mancini, I think they honestly, it's disappointing how I think that they're going to remember the Euro. That's going to be like the saving grace for Mancini right now. But I mean, you're what you mentioned is the age of this national team, and we've seen teams that play with the same players over and over again. Eventually, you got to move on from certain guys. You know, when you talk about the fact that you highlight the center back position for Italy, I mean, you got Bastoni right now who looks like he's prime and ready for the international level, doing what he's doing right now with Inter Milan. There's definitely Italian players right now that are ready. You want to see Chiellini, you want to see Chiesa, not Chiellini, my bad, but you want to see Chiesa, you want to see all the Barella, you want to see these young guys because I think these guys are prime and ready, and you're sticking with what you have. And I mean, no offense to Donnarumma, but he hasn't even been able to beat out Keylor Navas right now at PSG.
Right. I mean, Donnarumma is good, but I think he's overhyped a little bit. Hasn't proven himself. He hasn't really proven himself that much. They went out. They blew what? 200 million PSG. I mean, they blew 200 million bucks on him, and you're competing with a 36-year-old from Costa Rica. Like, what? I'm not saying he's bad by no means, but all this hype that he's the best goalkeeper in the world, I don't buy it. Who's better than him?
No, yeah, when you're talking about Italy goalkeepers, I think you can't argue for Donnarumma, but the issue was that he wasn't in form. Like, I mean, he barely got minutes as goalkeeper for PSG because the fact that he kept losing his spot to Keylor Navas. And then weirdly enough, his call-ups that he did make with Italy, they have been very lackluster. He's been making really young mistakes, which, you know, we got to remember that this is a young goalkeeper that is going to happen. But I think because of the fact that he is the Italians' main goalkeeper, because like you know, Buffon's not going to get called up anymore. But I mean, you know, there's that pressure now. The Italian goalkeepers, I mean, I feel like Italy has always had a successful goalkeeper for years. You could probably say the same thing with Germany, with, you know, Manuel Neuer, and then, you know, before him was Oliver Kahn. But yeah, there's a lot of pressure with him and with Donnarumma because of the money, because of all. I mean, he literally ignored Juventus, he ignored Inter Milan, he basically ignored AC Milan, obviously, and then goes to PSG for the money grab, thinking he was like, okay, yeah, I'm gonna beat Keylor Navas, and then he doesn't beat him. And I mean, that just shows how talented Keylor Navas is. I'm a big believer in him, but you know, he's just you kind of think about his decision making. But yeah, overhyped has always been around him. Even as I watched him with AC Milan, he's a good goalkeeper, but for what they're trying to praise him for, like he's not Ederson, he's not even Zach Steffen. I mean, I feel Zach Stefan's a little bit more reliable than Donnarumma can be right now because he's played more.
Really?
He's had more opportunities to, like, when you get more experience, that's my argument for that one. Why I rather would have a player like Zach Steffen than Donnarumma.
So you're saying, and I could be misinterpreting what you're saying, but you're saying if you're given the choice, Zach Steffen, Donnarumma, you're taking Steffen?
Yeah, because I think Steffen
Wow.
has seen more.
Yeah,
I think
no, I agree with the he's seen more part. But however, I don't think he's going to start for the U.S. in the World Cup.
Oh, I totally agree on that one. I think Matt
Turner is like, hey, and no one more deserving, really. Like, I mean, and I say that I'm not biased because I'm happy to see him go play in England. I'm happy for Adam Buksa when Keegan gets in because he's got a whole spiel on that. I'm happy to see him go play in Ligue 1. But there's a guy, Matt Turner, who started in the USL. There's not a lot of people listen to this. By no means do a lot of people listen to this, but some people that are going to be listening to this are going to be like, "What's the USL?" It's AAA, right? For the baseball people, it's AAA. Worked his way up and is now going to be playing in arguably the best league in the world. Like that, I don't care if he's going to start. He's not going to start. We know this. It's going to be Ramsdale, and then I think Burns Leno. I still think he's going to go to Newcastle. That's just my opinion. But all credit to Turner. I think he fully deserves to start over Steffen. I think he's been seen as unreliable at times for the U.S. I feel like he's always hurt too. Like made a mistake in, I believe it was the FA Cup final for Man City. I could be wrong.
No, yeah, you're right on.
It was either the FA or the Carabao. It was one of two. But no, I mean Turner is when he's a clutch goalkeeper. When you need him to make a save, as long as it's not an own goal by Omar Gonzalez, he's going to make the save. So,
I think what the thing is like why people would pick Zach Steffen over Matt Turner, and the only reason why is because there's like a weird devaluing now of a shot stopper. There's like people try to underestimate. Now you want goalkeepers that can play with their feet, and this isn't a shot at Matt Turner. You could tell he's not very comfortable on his feet, but I mean, kind of thankfully, thanks to the Champions League final, you see the value of a shot stopper because Courtois, that's what he's known for. He's not known
that's the best performance ever I've seen from him. And I'm not a fanatic, but I've seen him through the years. And
yeah, exactly. And that's what I saw. Like with Matt Turner, he's just a pure shot stopper. Like he has a great reach. And I think he's a very smart player.
Yes, experience
comes to mind. He's played plenty of times, and I mean. He's one of the sole reasons why New England had such a great turnaround last year. And unfortunately, I jinxed them because I picked them to win the MLS Cup.
Oh, I did.
That's my bad on that one. But no, yeah, Matt Turner. I think everything that he's getting right now, the fact that Arsenal is looking to get him, is a great opportunity for him because he deserves it. I think he should be the number one guy for the U.S. But knowing Greg Berhalter, he's going to stick with his guy, Zach Steffen. Which honestly is like one of those, it's a 1A, 1B type of situation.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, one's going to prefer the other versus the other, but I think both of them are very talented goalkeepers nonetheless.
Again, you bring up people that are like, oh, but he moves with his feet. What's the job of a goalkeeper?
Stop shots.
Stop the ball. Okay, then. End of discussion. End of discussion. Just stop the ball more. Matt Turner. Okay, then. That's my keeper. Moving on. Oh, God. We're on the transfer buzz. I want to get your take on this because I know you're a Premier League person. Erling Haaland to Manchester City. 2-part question. Can they finally win the Champions League with him? And part 2, what does this mean for Gabriel Jesus?
I'll answer the second one first.
Yeah.
So I mean, there's a lot of rumors going with Gabby Jesus possibly going to Arsenal. Seems to be the strong rumor. But yeah, this is essentially goodbye Gabby Jesus. And this is nothing against the quality of what he is. It's just, and I've said it plenty of times on Insert Name FC, like this guy's a red card waiting to happen because, and I don't know, maybe I'm just bad luck for this guy because every time I watch a Gabby Jesus game, he gets a red card. So I get paranoid now because I'm like, okay, I need to just stop watching this guy play because I feel like I'm a bad omen. But yeah, every time I've watched him, he gets a red card, and it's like a blatant red card. Like I mean, there's cleats showing. Like it's it's like, yeah, that's a red card. And so
Right.
I mean, I don't know if there's a discipline thing with Gabby Jesus, but honestly, it's weird. Manchester City this whole season almost didn't play with a striker
Right.
throughout the year, and it was interesting how they did that. You know, there was the rumors going into this season that they were going to go, you know, full on for Harry Kane, and you know, Tottenham stood strong and wanted to keep their guy even though he was clearly unhappy. Yeah, you know what? It worked out. They got to the Champions
I
League.
want to say he's not happy anymore.
No, he's not. But you know what? They went off for something a little bit better. Maybe not better, but younger. With Erling Haaland,
Yeah.
like the way he's been playing with Dortmund, even with him dealing with injuries this season, he still had another pretty decent season for what he can do. Obviously, once he's fully healthy, he'll be back to doing what he was doing, wreaking havoc in Champions League, and I mean, in the situations that they're in, I mean, you know, Pep Guardiola has a situation where, you know, kind of looking back to when he was with Barcelona, he has a Luis Suarez back, like another type guy that's going to be active up front. May roam around a little bit in the field, but he's gonna score goals. I mean, everyone says he's a machine. You know, he has a wicked left foot, but if you ever seen him kick with his right, it's a pretty solid shot as well.
Oh, yeah.
So Erling Haaland, I think one, they have to win the Champions League. If you got Erling Haaland, you have one of the best young players in the Champions League already, and that's with RB Salzburg, and then doing his thing with Borussia Dortmund. So I mean, you're in a great situation with the club. You have some amazing playmakers. You got Phil Foden, you got freaking Kevin De Bruyne, you got Raheem Sterling. Like, you have so much talent around you. Like, it's gonna be a massive failure if they don't win the Champions League. Like, if they don't get the quadruple or whatever they're gonna go get this time around, it's gonna be ridiculous, because at this point, Man City has put way too much money into this club that they don't have that Champions League, and they have the right manager. Only issue with Pep Guardiola is that he overthinks the tactics every once in a while.
Yep.
You know, we saw what happened with Real Madrid. They should have beat Real Madrid,
Yes, they should have.
and they should have been in the Champions League final against Liverpool. But so
They should win the Champions League. They're not going to.
Yep.
Just because I feel like, and it's no knock to Pep, by no means necessary. This is I don't hate the guy. No. In that moment, like, I've been seeing all the memes on social media, Pep about to overthink everything. He about to play Erling Haaland as a left back. No. It's not going to happen. Just because all this, and I already see it already. Everybody go pick Man City. Everybody go pick Man City. Not one person is going to pick Real Madrid to go back to back. And they just signed, I can't pronounce his last name, but what's his face from Monaco? Oren?
Tuchemi.
That guy. That midfield is loaded. Early season pick is Real Madrid back to back for me. And it's not like Man City's going to fire Pep as much as they want him to, because if there's like, I'm going to predict Pep Guardiola's career. All right, maybe he'll get a Champions League. Maybe get another center back. Maybe if they go and spend, I don't know. Maybe, I don't know. Like, is John Stones and Aymeric Laporte the answer? Maybe out with Stones and with, I don't know, Mateus de Ligt. I don't know. That's a thought. I don't know. I'm going to predict his career. He's going to finish this contract at Manchester City, and he's going to go manage Brazil. I already see it. So maybe in those, he's got 3 years left, I think. You know, he's bound to win a Champions League, and one, I don't think it's going to be this next year. He'll win one in the next 3. Then he's going to go manage Brazil and call it a career. But they got to win it. I don't think they're going to. I think they'll get the final. I think they will get to the final. I realistically see a Real Madrid, Manchester City final. I do. But again, the overthinking and just put the ball in the feet of Haaland. And I don't know if people are going to do that. Like, is Bernardo Silva going to be like, I have to take that shot? Kevin De Bruyne get it. Well, De Bruyne, I don't see him as a selfish player. I don't know. Keegan Hamlet joins us now.
How we doing, Brady?
Doing phenomenal. I want to get to you as we're on the topic of Champions League here and European soccer. We're going to be talking about a club who made a really good move this past week here. Talking about, of course, the League One side, RC Lens, who finished 7th place. I don't believe they're playing continental football or soccer. My God, I'm turning into a European. I'm not, they might be in the Conference League playoff. I'm not entirely sure, but they got themselves a striker, and Adam Buxa. $10 million are going from RC Lens to New England Revolution. Keegan Hamlet, as you being a mini season ticket holder, your thoughts?
Obviously sad, like first thing, because he was one of that core pieces from last year's team with the greatest regular season of all time. And you go out round one and first you have Buchanan leaving, then you get the news Turner's going to Arsenal. Now you get this. However, you do get the $10 million coming in. You can spend that on some players who are available, maybe make some other transfers to other teams overseas in Europe. But for RC Lens, very good pickup. 26-year-old striker is going to be, I think, one of the, I'll go as far as say maybe a top striker in the world. Not like top 5 or whatever, but like in that top range. And
eventually, you mean, right? Not like right now.
Oh yeah, eventually, yeah.
Okay.
Like give or take 3
I
or 4
just want
years.
to make
No,
sure
I'm not going right now. We're not going 2022. We're talking maybe
no, because the
20.
next thing I know the next thing out of your mouth would have been Buxa over Lewandowski. I would have been like, oh my God.
No, I'm not. No way. But
Speaking of
I
which,
think in the end, it's going to be a great move for both sides.
Hector, I'll go to you. Potential replacements for Adam Buxa.
Oh, and for New England?
For New England.
I'm surprised there's not like a young player right now already in that system, knowing Bruce Arena. But I mean, if you want like a guy that could come in right away, I honestly I would probably be looking at Liga MX right now because Atlas has a very good solid striker number 9 in Julio Furch over there. I feel like that's a guy that you could probably say that he's ready to maybe take on a new challenge. He did something that no one's ever seen in Liga MX very often, which is winning the opening and the closing season in the same year. So, and I mean, Atlas hasn't won a trophy in like God knows how long, and they won 2 back-to-back. So I mean, and it's definitely been behind Julio Furch's ability to score goals. I mean, I think that kind of weapon, maybe not a Robbie Keane type of signing that that would happen with LA Galaxy, which was another rebuild that Bruce Arena was able to do. But I think definitely would be a really great weapon with New England right now.
Keegan?
Well, when you were mentioning about the other guy, like you always have to factor into like players who might be great stars, but that maybe aren't happy getting the minutes that they're receiving from the current club too.
I think I know where you're going with this, but continue.
I have no idea where I'm going with this. But I know the guy you want. I don't know if he's really considered a striker.
I'll get to my reasoning in a few minutes, but go ahead.
But we know there's a guy who's 21, 22 years old.
Hector, you're going to love this.
There were originally rumors about Atlanta getting him, but those have died down. It's my grandmother's favorite player. It's my favorite player during last year's Gold Cup. And his name is Matthew Hoppe.
Oh.
The passing, the dribbling, the footwork, and the mentality he has, I think that would be a good fit.
Let it be known I was the architect behind this idea. You delivered it beautifully. Here's why. Aside from, yes, he's a great ball handler. He's got a great left foot. But I feel like we could look at several guys, at least in the United States men's national team level, and we can just point out He needs to move back to America. He needs to move back to America. He needs to move back to America. Two guys that immediately come to mind are Ethan Horvath of Nottingham Forest, recently promoted to the Premier League, and the other one being Matthew Hoppe. Originally, it was Atlanta United. Atlanta United does not need another striker. Shut up about the Atlanta United. I'm sick of it. They got Dom Dwyer, Joseph Martinez. They don't need that. Let's look at a team that needs a striker now. The New England Revolution. You're a reserve. I literally reserve. Like in 2 years now, you've made 5 appearances for a La Liga side that was almost relegated. Mallorca was almost relegated. They finished 17th of 20. Get a jump start back on your career. I understand you're only 21, but he's going to be competing with a lot of other guys for that 9th spot for Greg Berhalter, Jesus Ferreira, Daryl DK. I think maybe we could see Timothy Weah sign in that 9th spot. I know Alexi Lala said it's an attacking third of just chaos, and I couldn't have said it better. Nobody could have. Surprisingly, it's Alexi. But Hoppe could easily come in to MLS, easily be the best striker. I know Raul Rui Diaz exists. I know Joseph Martinez exists. They're not going to be around forever. In 4 years, Raul Rui Diaz is going to be in Cabo, and Joseph Martinez is probably going to be in Brazil, coming off the bench for Atletico Mineiro. A smart 9. Again, a great ball handler, a good header as well. I mean, they'd be foolish to not look at Matthew Hoppe as an option, I think.
And I'm going to add one more thing about Matthew Hoppe. When I was watching the Gold Cup games, like other than Areola and Zardes, like he was pretty much in charge of that forward offense.
Yeah.
And I saw the way he was playing, the way he was trying to hype up his teammates. I didn't see that as much from Buxa as I would have liked to see.
Right. All right. I'm going to hit 1 or 2 more questions. Looking ahead, I'm going to go back. I'm going to jump back to Europe. Hector, this will go to you. Nothing's permanent here, but it looks like Lewandowski is going to go to Barcelona, which means Sadio Mane is going to go to Bayern Munich. And it looks like Christian Pulisic could potentially be on the move to Liverpool. Hector Flores, what do you make of this rumor?
It's quite the rumor. I think, one, if Barcelona manages to get Robert Lewandowski, I think it's clear what Robert Lewandowski wants to do. He wants to win the Ballon d'Or. He thinks being with a manager like Xavi is going to help him get the Ballon d'Or, especially with that young core that they're developing right now with Barcelona, which they seem like they're prime and ready to start competing right away.
Yes.
And Lewandowski definitely gives them that big head start for it. So that works out for Barcelona. Bayern Munich, I mean, the rich get richer. I mean, yes, you lose Lewandowski, but then you bring in just another future legend in Sadio Mane to improve their odds. And I think if you're Sadio Mane, now you get to have that the responsibility now, because in Liverpool it was you and Mohamed Salah kind of taking shares. It's like he's gonna get the Robert Lewandowski treatment because he's gonna be that guy up front for them. So I mean, same thing for him. He wants to compete with the Ballon d'Or. He wants to be with a team that he could probably win a Champions League with. Not saying the Liverpool isn't that team, but he definitely has a little bit more upside for it because he will be the guy for Bayern Munich up top if that's their solution up front. For Pulisic, I think it's going to be a lot of competition once again, kind of similar with Chelsea. It's not necessarily the best situation to be put in because there's other guys already in that team. Luis Diaz, you're going to be competing with. Diego Jota, a lot of people forget about him, but he's in there as well. Him playing a false 9 is not something I want to see him do. I want him to continue to work on his wing play, especially if we're talking about the Premier League. The other rumor I've heard is possibly going to Juventus, which that would be an interesting move, but not the move I would like him to go because I want him to continue working on his IQ, with his technical ability and IQ, and that's what the Premier League does for you. Mm-hmm. But if he goes to Italy, I mean, another big guy playing for a top team like Juventus.
I don't like it. He's not going to play. He's not going to play at Liverpool.
Mhm.
He's not better than Luis Diaz. We've seen that this year. That kid burst onto the scene. He's not better than Jota. He'll compete for a starting spot, but ultimately, I mean, he'll be there for a year and he'll be like, I want out. You're going to be playing under arguably the best in the world, Jurgen. But I think looking at Chelsea, it's in his best interest to stay there. I really believe that. I mean, you're going to go to Juventus. All right. Yeah. Would he start? Who knows? I don't know if he would. I think staying at Chelsea with, I mean, I don't necessarily say an aging Chelsea, but like, you have someone like Ziyech on the right. I don't understand he's a right winger, but he's not Hakeem Ziyech 2019 Ajax playing in the Champions League against Spurs. Like he's older now. So I think I'd like to see him stay at Chelsea, and Tuchel can, master the technical ability. And I feel like he would help him more than Klopp was already working with Jota, Diaz, Salah, Minamino, Hola, El Perro. I speak Spanish. That's my take on that. Keegan Hamlet, I'll speak on Pulisic. I know you're the national team guru here. This will be the last question. Zoom is telling me we have about 5 minutes left. Is Christian Pulisic, can he lead this United States national team past the group stage of the World Cup? And how far? How far?
It's going to be that round of 16 matchup. Like, that's where I have them right now. I have England, obviously, number one. And Wales is going to be tough. Like, don't count them out. I know they barely got in, but don't count them out. That's a strong Wales team, too. Iran, not like a team to take lightly either. It's going to be a tough road, as it's been. 2014, I remember that was the group of death. It was Japan, Ghana, and Portugal. Or was it Japan?
South Korea.
Germany.
Germany. Oh God, I'm way off.
Yeah, but yeah, I mean, I don't expect this to be the group of death, but it's going to be a tough road for the U.S. In the end, I see them getting into the round of 16, but it's not just going to be Pulisic that's going to have to step up. It's going to have to be that back line, the MMA in the middle, if that's what we see, and the other forwards, even the subs too, who come on. Because sometimes we've seen in that last 15 minutes, they can be a little shaky.
I love my MMA, but now I think I think they're going to finish second. Wales in third, Iran in fourth, and then England, I think, will honestly blow away that group. But it really depends who they draw in that round of 16. If you get France, forget about it. If you even get Belgium, I believe as of right now, they're still number one. Forget about it. If you even get, oh my God, I don't know who. I'll be willing to say South Korea. Oh, I'm nervous.
Well, this is your round of 16, provided that they go.
All
Qatar,
right.
Ecuador, Senegal, Netherlands. Those are your potential round of 16 teams.
Forget about Netherlands. Forget Senegal. Like, it's going to be Netherlands and Senegal, I think, out of the group. Like, they can't beat those. But if they, so if by some miracle Ecuador is in that second spot,
I mean, who knows about Qatar too? Who knows about Qatar? We saw Russia in the last World Cup. That home advantage, though, that can be something.
But they can beat Qatar. I'd be very nervous against. Netherlands is no shot. Senegal, Hector, and I'll go to you for this last bit. I would be worried.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, when you have to look at Group A as your possible matchups for especially because you're gonna take the winner on. If you're expecting to be the runner-ups to Group B, right, you're gonna have to play the winner of Group A. So it's either, if you guys are viewing like that, it is the favorite to be Netherlands. It is definitely going to be the Dutch national team, which that provides you with a huge challenge. You're talking about the team that developed technical skill. You know, the 4-3-3 formation has been the reason why it exists is because of the Dutch. And yeah, they got some really talented players. It's going to be a definitely David versus Goliath type matchup. Senegal is probably, I would say, a little bit more favorable for the U.S. if you compare it to the Netherlands. Ecuador, if they, I guess, apparently drawing against Mexico this past weekend gave them all the confidence in the world to go ahead and win Group A. But Qatar, man, I gotta say a lot of great things about Qatar because, you know, the fact that they participated in Copa America and the Gold Cup prior to getting ready for the World Cup. I mean, you know, they took advantage of an opportunity that those two tournaments offer, which is an invitational spot. And they took it. They got to see other talent compete well. They did pretty well, and actually within their own continent. They've gotten better and better over the years, as well as a national team. Say what you want to say about the country Qatar itself as a host nation, but I think the club is the country as well as the national team has done pretty well.
Before we get kicked off, like, share, subscribe, follow. We're on TikTok now. Follow us at the Sports Saga Pod. For Hector Flores, Keegan Hamlet, I am Brady Kudo, and enjoy the rest of your day.